Damn it, I should have just committed right there. All right, many of us think commitment has more to do with courage than it does understanding. So today I want to talk more about how instead of thinking about being brave, committing, sticking your trick, you got to focus your attention on how do you understand, how do you get control, and how to iterate upon your reps so things don't feel like you're lucky the whole time, but instead like you're learning and getting a better understanding, a better control of your skateboarding. And you guys are going to see how I slowly build the control with the tray flip, for example, and work my way up to doing the 2 flat 2. It's a trick I've done, but the concepts that I'm going to be talking about apply to even a new trick. With tray flips, when I first started landing them, as soon as I could do this, right, and not stick them completely, I was like, oh my God, I just need a little bit more air and I can get it off a set of stairs. Instead of actually understanding how I can benefit from popping the board a bit more, how I can benefit from slowing it down a bit, right? How I can benefit from making sure that when I land, I'm not landing so stiff, like this. But instead figuring out how I can land centered over the lead foot. That was not a good one. Centered over the lead foot, engaged, and feeling a bit more comfortable instead of referencing the video or asking someone else for a secondhand view of whether or not my tray flip looked good. You gotta feel like you're gaining control instead of asking if it looks better, right? Because this is an individual assessment. What holds priority when it comes to building that control or understanding a trick is thinking about how it felt. Intuitively, did you feel like you gained anything from that iteration? No. So flat ground, right? I would get stuck also doing it on flat instead of getting super comfortable with speed. When I introduce speed as a factor, it becomes so much unstable because it's a bit unfamiliar. And so familiarizing myself with that speed allows me to, gain understanding, therefore gain control, so that when I go to the 2 flat 2, I'm so much more prepared, and I'm not confident because of courage. I'm confident because of the experience I gained. So again, you want to be confident because of the experience you're gaining through that iteration instead of just having a false sense of courage because you believe commitment is the main thing, right? So commitment, yes, you can commit, but commitment doesn't promise anything. What promises more or increases your chances is making sure you iterate, making sure you build that understanding so that when it comes down to the time when you need to commit, you're set up for better chance of success instead of setting yourself up for, either something really good, which is the land, or really bad. And even then, I talk a lot about you want to be making sure you learn your tricks instead of you just landing a trick and feeling like you got lucky instead of really understanding and building that control. So I'm going to do, let's say, 5 tray flips, see how they feel. Engage. So my toes were hanging out right there. Where I can improve is just making sure I have my toes landing on the board. And I believe what I did there was be a bit too heavy over the lead foot, or not even over the lead foot, but over the bolts. So we're gonna focus a little more on jumping straight up. He was just pretty loud. With the intention to jump straight up and allow the speed to take me, gave me the confidence to understand that I need to think about a solid pop instead of just throwing myself over where I'm going to land, right? For example, I'm gonna do a tray flip before this line, and knowing that I might land over here, it may feel a bit more intuitive to jump forward, right? Where we lean in to propel ourselves forward. But instead, what you got to think about is just jumping straight up, because what takes us forward is the speed, and what gives us that solid pop and control is the direction we jump. Okay, so here's an example of that. Maybe you want to get a wider angle. As opposed to trying to jump forward and meet the tray flip where it's going to land. It's more of a feeling, but that one, it didn't really give me the confidence of this that I build through feeling that snap. The other one felt very reactive, very snappy, and so that's a result of being intentional about how you're jumping up. So again, look within, or ask if you felt like you built understanding or control, instead of just referring to the video, because in video it might seem like nothing changed, but where it changes is how you feel when you do a tray flip. As you build the control through these iterations of jumping straight up, making sure you add factors like speed, and then maybe if there's an obstacle where you can just jump off or do some tricks off a ledge to introduce yourself to the feeling of impact, get a bit more comfortable with impact, so that's not a factor that's throwing you off. Getting accustomed to impact. And if there's nothing, there's not a ledge where you don't have to worry about the distance, but you just have to worry about a tray flip, you can think about skating that set of stairs. So in this case, I can think about skating this set of stairs with tricks that are super comfortable, like ollies, 180s, back 180s, kick flips, whatever those tricks are, right? And I'm naming these because they're specific to me, but for you, it might be something completely different. Allowing yourself to get accustomed to that feeling is going to give you better chances to implement these factors like jumping up, censoring over that lead foot, and making sure that the speed isn't getting you, uncomfortable, because you already prepared yourself in other situations, in very similar situations. That way, when it's time to put it together, you're in a much better position because you gained that understanding instead of just getting up there and relying on, grit, commitment, courage that isn't based off of the experience. We're going to do this tray flip, but actually, let me do 10, right? I'm really gonna focus on just flowing around the park, so you could just follow me. I'm gonna just go in circles. Okay, so go. Feel some fatigue settling in, so this is also something that's very important. You want to give yourself time in between these tries when you're skating sets or anything, because you're human. You have these biological mechanisms that are necessary. So rest, a breath, so that you can give it the full attention and commit with the best chance possible to land the trick. So go a little faster for this. And now we're going straight up to this one. So again, commitment doesn't come from the courage and grit necessarily. It comes from the experience and the understanding you gain from those iterations, that practice, that repetition, that pretty much fuel that commitment, that courage that many of us think we all have, that we all automatically are given. It's not about expecting yourself to commit. It's more about allowing yourself to gain experience that is gonna fuel and earn you that commitment, that potential to commit. Essentially, what I'm summarizing is that we have to earn our commitment, because we're gonna place ourselves in situations like a street spot or even when we're trying to learn a trick at the skate park, where we feel the need to just ignore everything that we've learned and commit. But the thing is, because hopefully you put in the reps or just have been skating for a while, you have earned the ability to commit. It's not like you just get on the skateboard the first day and you can commit to something without previous experience or previously earning that courage. You know, some of us don't know where we earned our courage from, but it doesn't mean that it wasn't earned, right? It could have been instilled from a parent, it could have been instilled from a friend, or it could have been instilled through repetitions and practice at the skate park. Regardless, it's something we earn, and it's not something that we automatically are entitled to. So gain that courage, gain the ability to commit, earn the ability to commit, so that when it comes down to trying a new trick or challenging yourself where you feel a bit uncomfortable, or you may feel a bit of fear, you're able to still you still have the ability to commit under those circumstances. All right, so that was try number one. The thing about in earning that commitment, many of us try to speed up the process by just going for the trick, but instead give yourself that time in between to do a tray flip, to take a breather. Understand that you can take from lessons you've learned from flat ground skating this obstacle with a different trick and other sessions, and use it to commit, right? It's not about just forgetting about everything, but instead understanding you're capable because of the experience you've earned, or because of the commitment you've earned. I've earned this ability to commit because of the flat ground tray flips I did, because of skating this set, and because of other lessons that I might be thinking about. I'm thinking about like censoring over the lead foot, making sure I'm looking at where I'm going and jumping straight up. That was attempt number two. That one, the two front wheels, how do I say this? I popped too late, so this is what happened. I popped once, my two wheels went over. So on this one, I need to be a bit more reactive, a bit more snappy. At this point, a lot of us want to run straight up and just go for it again and think about committing. But it will help you to quickly take note of what happened, right? The one before I took note, my wheels went over. On this one, as I popped, instead of jumping straight up, I kind of leaned forward. So it's important you're understanding the lessons within each failed attempt, so that you set yourself up and earn your confidence, or earn the ability to commit even more effectively. I wasn't able to engage at the moment right there. I was rushing it, honestly. Okay, breathing. Okay, the board setup felt a little weird. I don't know if the back hooks, I don't know what it was, but I felt like I was turning to the right. So, okay, right here. Okay, so I don't feel as confident as I thought. I'm thinking, what is really holding me back? And I honestly think I don't want to fall. So when you feel like this, you can either think about warming yourself up a little more, or really asking yourself if you're ready for this, and if not, how you can set yourself up to be a bit more prepared so that you don't have to fall as much. This is not to say if you don't land it or it takes forever, you stop or you quit. It's more of understanding if there's something else you're missing, and if you can gain that understanding by revisiting another lesson. So for example, can you skate the 3 stairs over here? Can you skate a little more on flat? Or are you just missing a breath? And so right now, taking a breath as I speak to you, we're gonna go for it one more. If I don't land it, we're gonna try some flat ground tray flips again. So that one, I really felt like I jumped straight up. So I think that's what I was missing most of the time. And it wasn't simply, oh, just jump straight up. I applied more tension over this left side so that when I got up here, I felt like I got a better snap. Many times we want to commit without really understanding what we're missing so that we can have better chances of actually landing something. Because again, commitment isn't the end result. The end result is landing the trick, learning the trick. And because if commitment was the end result, then we would be landing every time we committed. But that isn't the case. So you want to think about how you can understand what you're doing instead of just relying on courage, so that you can learn your tricks instead of just landing them, you know, every once in a while. So again, I want to be able to consistently have the tools necessary to do this tray flip, and placing myself in a situation where I'm battling a tray flip every time I go for this 2 flat 2. Instead, it's much more effective to understand what I'm doing on flat ground when I introduce speed, impact, so that when I need to put them all together, I have the most chances of success when I actually commit, right? So we're gonna do one more tray flip because I have an understanding of what I was missing and what I can make sure to apply on this attempt. Now, it doesn't mean I'm going to land it. It just means I'm a bit more prepared to be successful in this tray flip. So here we go. So it wasn't the best one, but the idea remains the same. Gain the understanding instead of just relying on courage to commit and land your tricks. All right, my friends, so check out the lives, the membership. Videos are going to be uploaded so much more consistently. Appreciate your comments, looking forward to seeing them. And let me know if there's anything I can elaborate on relating to this topic. If lessons or coaching is something that you're interested in, you can hit me up at profe.carlos on Instagram, and we can talk about what that looks like for you.